Hello, everyone. Welcome to what's happening this week in real estate. I got Conrad Zerini from REMAX Escarpment and REMAX Niagara, broker, owner, and Brian Hogbin, Mission 35 Mortgages, and myself, Rob Golfi. We got a couple of things we're going to talk about. The one thing is nearly half of the Canadians are considering getting creative to own through alternative paths. So, like, I know buddies are getting together to buy houses, to start building, wealth. I think a lot of couples are getting together, like, saying, hey, let's buy a house together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like they're moving in quicker, I think, than normally, so they can get their into the market. Also, who else? Like, and then people are saying, hey, let's buy a duplex. We try to figure out who gets the upper and lower unit.
Yep.
Excuse me. And then there's rent to own. I'm not a big fan of rent to own because usually those things never work out. The landlord wins on that, and all of a sudden it just becomes a big shit show for the both parties when it doesn't happen.
There are some better rent to own companies come out because they're starting to have like an advocacy agency. They're starting to have an organization for the rent to owns to get registered with, and there are actually some decent ones. We've done a couple where I think the biggest thing on the rent to own is if the future purchase price is dictated up front. Because what I've seen happen is where it's like, oh, you want to buy it now? Well, now it's $10 million, right? But whereas if you say up front, okay, we're going to do it with a 5% reasonable growth rate. I've seen people come out of it with equity because it's actually gone up. But you got to be, to your point, Rob, you got to be very careful because there is, if you're doing it outside with just a mom and pop or without a realtor, without somebody looking at it, you can get really taken advantage of.
You got lawyers' letters flying back and forth. Now, I had somebody on the show. I forget his name. I think you referred me to this guy. He's a good. He loves to talk. What's that?
Alfonso.
I gotta have him back on the show. He was really good. I don't even have to be on. I'll tell him, hey, come do the show.
Just want to set him up by himself. There you go.
He can chat. He can chat.
That's it. I'll just say, here's 3 questions I'll ask, and I'm just gonna go downstairs and you just run the show. That's it. But otherwise, like it is tough out there. But here's the one thing I'm finding, and I tell people, do the opposite that everybody's doing.
Yes, you're
Everybody's waiting waiting for the interest rates to come down. If everybody's doing that, you're driving the prices up, guys. You gotta buy now. There's still opportunities. Like, I'm looking at some of the prices of the benchmark prices of certain areas that's happening. There's still freaking opportunities out there. The prices are still they're still low. I know they're not low compared to what it was like 2022 and 21. But we've hit bottom, and it's floating right now. Right now, we're just bobbing 5, 10, 20 grand up and down, up and down.
And I think, and we were at your meeting yesterday, Conrad, for REMAX Escarpment. Who was the name of the outfit that's going to be purchasing 10,000 single-family homes? Like, if you want to purchase a single-family home, if a big investment company is saying, I'm going to buy 10,000 of these, that to me says they've probably done more research than I have. They think it's at the bottom for sure.
And you better get in there now, because when they start buying, guess what? Yeah. They're just going to buy, and then they're going to drive the prices up. These guys know real estate is the best investment in the world. Most millionaires have become from buying real estate. And I mean, it's like when your parents got into this business, were your grandparents into this business?
No, they weren't. No, my grandfather. No.
So your parents they knew it was the right way to go. So, and that's it. And now they passed it on to you, and you're going to pass it on to your kids. Yeah. So that's awesome. But but
I tell you, this is just going back to Brian's point. It's really, and it goes with what you're saying. Yesterday, I was talking about this is the insider trading, guys. Like we this is the closest to insider trading you're going to have. This company buying 10,000 homes, that's pretty good insider info. And the numbers are so compelling between housing starts and immigration. The gap is so far past, right? So what's going to happen is, the supply of homes is not going to keep up with demand. We have insider information at this point, and people should be jumping on it 100%.
For sure. Anyway, so another note. So here's the other thing. Now, Teron facing largest claim event in its history as builders walk away from projects and home buyers are losing their deposits.
Yes.
What's going on? Like I for a development project like the big one, the number one where Apple's supposed to be the flagship store on the main level.
Yep.
Now that one there, before they went bankrupt, the banks must have lent them tens of millions of dollars just to stay afloat because they knew they were in trouble, and they didn't want to pull the rug on them then, but for them to pull the rug now, they just probably saw there's no ending in this thing.
Well, and Apple, of course, that's another thing too. Apple is suing because the timing and everything like that. The market shifted. I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I've heard of, look, back in 2022 at the end, the end of Q1, people were falling over themselves to buy pre-construction. And in 2021, the same thing. They were just falling over each other. They didn't even have lawyer approval. People just said here, and no one was checking if they had teron or any of that stuff. And they just, they put down their deposits more than what's insured, like craziness. So yeah, 90 million, that's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. It's going to be way more than that.
Conrad, now I got to ask you, if let's say a developer or builder, small builder, is building 10 homes, 20 homes, or he's building a condo, whatever, and he doesn't have teron, are those buyers insured still?
No, they're not. Well, if he hasn't, and sometimes what teron does is it actually says they're only allowed to build so many properties. So let's say he's got a 100-unit subdivision and he's only allowed to build 20 or 25.
Without a teron? Without teron?
Yeah, they'll limit you because based on your assets, teron will limit the amount that you can build. Now, they may have not, watched, during that heyday, they weren't watching as closely as they could have. But yeah, there are some that some people might not have the insurance. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, there's also severe financial implications for that too, because if you're doing a self-build and you don't have teron, you're going to have trouble reselling it or getting a mortgage on it with a lot of lenders, right? You can build a house for yourself without a teron insurance. But if I'm going to build a house to resell it and not occupy as my primary, the future lender is likely going to look for a teron certificate in order to do financing for your upcoming buyer. So you're going to really limit your pool if you don't have that.
So it's a provincial offense.
If you're building for yourself, you hire a contractor. You don't need a teron. But if a guy buys a property, a house, tears it down, takes everything out, builds on spec, sells it, he needs teron, right?
Yes. Yep. Unless he's occupying it. Yeah. If he's representing it as new, which they are. Yeah. Then it's it has to. It's a provincial offense to sell a home that's not registered with teron. And the agent, it's also the agent is at fault as well. Yeah.
Right. So question, I gotta ask you now. Over here it says, let me get, where's my glasses here? My dirty. So over here it says, if you signed your purchase agreement before January 1st of 2018, your deposit is protected by teron up to a maximum of $40,000. Okay, so they changed it obviously because deposits were getting bigger. So if you signed on after January 1st of 2018, your deposit coverage depends on the purchase price of your new home. So basically, if you buy $600,000 or less, you're covered up to $60,000. So let's say you buy a $600,000 house. They want a $100,000 deposit to purchase. So you're basically screwed out of the $40,000 if they go bankrupt.
Yes.
Now, what and then anything over 600, you're covered up to 10% to a maximum of 100,000. Now, how many do you think of these guys in these condo towers are over their percentage, like over 100,000, over 60,000, whatever? Well, it's got to be a lot of them.
A lot of it's got to be a lot. There's without question.
Well, because the deposit was, I know a lot of the ones that we saw, they were looking at deposits at 20%, right?
Yeah,
because 20% was that magic number to know that financing is going to kick in a lot easier. So if you're
so $600,000, like minimum 15%. but at 600 grand, you're at 120. So you're done.
Oh, you're screwed. Like, why doesn't the government protect these people for that? Like, and then the builders say, sorry, you don't have it. But right now, if anybody's building a development now, I don't think I would go higher than this. I think I think they should have a notice there in the sales office saying, hey, this is just to inform you that you're only covered for 600,000 under 60,000 under 600,000, and to a maximum of 100,000 over 100. What is it here? I can't even read it. Over 600,000.
Yeah.
Well, that'll probably be the new requirement for builders when you walk into a sales site.
Yeah.
I think going in the future, that's going to be something coming forward, maybe.
Yeah, because you know what? I wouldn't want to get
for financing, it's going to be tough with those numbers.
Is it no, but for financing for the developer.
Yes, for the developer, it'll be tough with those numbers, right? It'll be tough at those.
Well,
numbers.
You know what? They're going to have to reassess this thing now. This is hitting the forefront of the newspapers. They're going to have to probably up the number again, because I would be scared to give 20%, knowing that I'm only covered for 100 grand if it's over $600,000 property.
Yeah, they got to revamp lots of numbers. They got to revamp the HST at 400,000 on new. There's a lot of things they need to revamp. That's way too small. You know what I mean? We got to bring that up, for the rebate, to help with some affordability, right? It's, the only guys that are making up, look, and I don't feel sorry for developers, don't get me wrong, but I'll tell you something. When you think of the government, how much money the government makes on it, you have to understand, 400,000 and above, they take the HST, right? There's land transfer tax. There's 5% parkland dedication. There's development charges. This thing, this is crazy. Land transfer. They make $250,000 on a $1 million townhouse. That's what the government makes. So between all that, come on, guys, that's affordability. They got to give their heads a shake, right?
Yeah, no kidding. So do you think these condo towers that stop, like this one, let's say an example, the one in Toronto, do you think another developer is going to get their hands on this and try to resell? This is tough, especially in the market that we're in now. That could sit empty like that for 10 years.
Oh yeah, because they paid dearly for the land, and it's now there's a battle going on between. So Sam Misra owns 50%, and there is a fund which is owned by the Rogers family. They own a fund that invests in real estate on that site, and they also own 50% of a site in North Toronto with Sam Misra again. And they're battling it with the receiver, who's going to take control. It's 50-50. You know what I love about it is even big guys like that, right? You know what I mean? They got a team of lawyers and whatever, and they are still got themselves into trouble because I don't think they read everything either.
No kidding.
Right? You know what I mean? So yeah, they just trusted. A lot of trust, right?
You know what? I got to tell you one thing. The one thing they got to revamp. Years ago, we're talking, this is 40 plus years ago, they had, if you bought lunch for less than $4, there's no tax. Do you know they haven't changed that?
Yeah, I see. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
What? Revamp it. You can't buy lunch for less than $10 now. What the
Only
heck?
on Tuesday. That's it.
What the heck? They've kept that. If you buy lunch under $4, there's no tax, and they've never changed that.
No,
I'm gonna send a letter to Doug Ford. Where's Doug Ford? I get it.
Yeah, they're addicted to the tax money, guys. You know what I mean? That's the terrible thing, right?
Yeah. No kidding.
Bad.
Oh well.
Bad.
Well, guys, I think that's our time, and I appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.